Talkin' Country. You're listening to Talkin' Country with Paul Taylor.
Hi, welcome to my channel, Talking Country, where we'll be chatting to the stars of country music from around the world, whether it's in Nashville, Australia, UK, Ireland. You'll get it here first. If you like us, subscribe and give us the big thumbs up. Hopefully you enjoy it. Well, that was an amazing song called Blue Baby Now by Darin Brooke Aldridge. They're North Carolinian. Is it Carolinians?
Carolinian.
Carolinians. Yes, they're here on Zoom meeting with me, ladies and gentlemen. And a duo that Vince Gill called one of his favourites. Now, you can't get better than that, can you?
Absolutely
not to us. On the list.
I know. We'll talk a little bit more about your experiences in the recording studio with Vince, but let's talk about that amazing song. I mean, it's nominated for awards. It's climbing up the charts. I think it's number 11 at the moment. I think Brian put on Facebook today.
Yes.
I mean, tell us more about this. I mean, what was the inspiration behind it?
Well, this is a song that I've been doing for a long, long time, really before Darin and I met in another band that I was with, and we had never recorded it before. And I heard it by the Whites back in the early 80s off of a project that they did. And I always thought that it would sound cool, you know, with a banjo intro and kind of bluegrassed up a little bit. So we started doing it that way. And then when Darin and I met, I was like, we've got to do this song, you know, sometime. And we had kind of forgotten about it. And then when we were actually driving out to Nashville to go track some of our first songs, him and I both were like, you know what? There's that song, Blue Baby.
Good Blue Baby, yeah. So when we got there to record the next day, they was like, where did this song come from? This is not what we've been talking about the last, few weeks planning this. It's like, we thought of it last night.
It's such an amazing song, and it harpers back to, for me, an older genre as well. It's like that Patsy Cline kind of feel to it. Yeah, it's such a brilliant song, and I think it's what the whole scene, bluegrass or country scene, needs, that kind of injection of that old style.
Well, thank you. We love that old style and old-fashioned ways, so it's good for us.
We tend to go back to that a lot because that's what our parents listened to when we were kids, so that's what we were always hearing, and definitely fell in love with it when we were growing up, and I'm glad that it's kind of stayed with both of us.
Now, I always have on my shows a song that I call as a goosebumper. It's those kind of songs that give you them goosebumps. And that, along with a lot of your songs, because your harmonies are so perfect. And I've always said this about good harmony duos or groups like the Eagles, yourself, other people. You could buy the best equipment that can give you a harmony and it'll never match what you guys have got perfected. It's stunning.
Well, thank you much.
Yeah, no, Brian's paid me for say that anyway. But no, but I do mean that. I mean, it's an art in itself to get it so tight. I mean, your husband and wife now. Just making our audience aware of that. You are husband and wife. So if you can't perfect harmonies while you're married, then it's time to pack in, isn't it? Really.
First time we met, which is probably about 14, 15 years ago now. The first day we met, we sang together in church that day. And
wow,
what's just drawn me to want to sing with her. And it's just been going strong ever since,
But you've been like winning awards, multi-award winning duo, and also yourself, Brooke, you've been winning awards and still at the moment, is it the IBMA award?
Yes.
For female vocalist? They still can't get that accolade off you, can they?
Well, it's been an honor to carry the torch for 4 years, and I never even imagined I would get it once with all the ladies that are in the industry and just that have been around for so long and are amazing in their own right. And so it really is truly an honor to just be recognized for something that I've loved doing since I was a kid.
Have you perfected that now? If the camera comes on you, and they go.
Well, I had to do that last year because of it was a virtual award show, so I had to pretend I was excited.
So they asked everybody to take
pre-record it.
Yeah.
Right.
Won, so I got to do the video and she got to do the speech.
It took me about an hour to get it right because I was like, I want it to be real and genuine, so I can't
do that. You're not surprised.
So the lap of honor around the house, you had to edit that one then.
Yeah.
On that one. But no, it's brilliant. I love bluegrass in its entirety, and I think even Alan Jackson brought out a bluegrass album, and I thought that was really, really good. But is that just the genre that you've always had in yourself? I mean, obviously Carolina, there's a lot of that in that area, isn't there, where there's a bluegrass?
Oh, yeah. Here in western part of North Carolina, especially through the mountains, and Appalachian runs right through here, where we both grew up and we're from.
And is that why, obviously, with bluegrass and with Vince Gill as well? I mean, Vince Gill always sang about that, and you can always, when you listen to him or when you see any of his music, there is an element of bluegrass throughout his career, isn't there?
Yeah. Of course, growing up in it as a young age, Vince was a part of several local bands out there in Oklahoma, and then moved to Kentucky, I think, right after high school to be right in the thick of things. And then he's out, and I guess in California next, behind Burline and some of the guys, and early Emmylou Harris, and kept that kind of tradition going, that high lonesome sound, as he talks about throughout his career.
I love that album, The High Lonesome Sound. I love that particular album as well. And again, talking about Emmylou Harris, you've got a song, Emmylou, haven't you, as well? I would imagine that's not any other Emmylou, but Emmylou Harris.
That's right. Yeah. That was a great tune that the Soderbergh sisters wrote.
Mm.
And, we wanted to try and do a version of it just because we loved it so much and thought it was a great song as a duet.
Duet. It's what it talks about. I'll be your Amy Lou.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And she's such an icon, isn't she? I mean, she's just amazing. Have you ever? I would imagine you've met her, and has she made any compliments on the song?
We've only got to be around her one time.
Yeah. And that was right after she came off stage at Merle Fest, which is a festival here in North Carolina. And we got to talk to her just for a few minutes.
Just a little bit. It was early in our career too, so we hadn't recorded that song. But
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say if you ever meet her, she wants royalties or something like that.
Well, we'd love to be able to be in her presence again, just to sit down and talk with her for a long period of time. I think she's probably got a lot of great stories.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean, I don't think there's anybody in the world doesn't know Emmylou Harris, even if you don't like the genre of any kind of country or bluegrass as well. But I mean, excuse me, you've been doing quite a bit on Facebook as well. I mean, you like the tip jar and getting out there, and you're not alone in that. Even in the UK, a lot of my colleagues up and down the country have been doing it from day one. There's the tip jar, buy me a beer jar, or some. Even Susie Boggess has got a tip jar going, So
that's right.
Yeah. So
Susie's Wind Down Wednesdays, I think it is.
Yeah. I went to see her in Manchester with Gretchen Peters and Matresha Berg.
Oh wow!
And it was called Wine, Women and Song. It was over in Manchester, about 20 miles away from here. And after every song, we just sat down with a table in between them and a glass of wine. So every song was a glass of wine. So by the end of the night, it was like, oh, go on, we'll do that one. No, they're always professional. But with yourselves as well, I mean, the Opry is just home of proper music, and you've been fortunate where you've been on that stage many times now. How many times have you been at the Opry?
We just had our official 25th and 26th appearance this past weekend.
Wow.
But probably playing it with a few other friends and guests. We was out with John Jorgensen one time, and we was out with Vince had us on for our very first one. So was John
mm-hmm.
Berry,
mm-hmm.
and we made a couple overnight appearances there that the Opry had called on us like the day before. Somebody couldn't be there, couldn't show up or something like that. Could we fill the spot? So we actually got to play it about 32 times. So.
Mm-hmm.
And the very first time that you played, and I said this to a lot of people, I was talking to Jeannie Seeley recently last week, and obviously she's been on the Opry for like 50 something years, been an honorary member. Yourselves, from the first day you walked on is it the same feeling that you've now celebrated the 26 times?
Oh yeah,
it feels like the first time every time. Those feelings, I don't think I think if you really value the place that it is and who stood there before you and still stands there today, I don't think those kind of jitters and butterflies ever go away, because it's just somewhere that you've dreamed about playing your whole life. It's kind of like looking at a picture and actually standing in that circle. It's pretty incredible. Yeah.
I know a friend of mine a couple of years ago was going over, and a friend of mine, Sharon Corbett House, James House is his wife, ex-wife, I should say. I'd text her and saying, because we're good friends, obviously through Brian, touring with James and stuff. And I just said, oh, my friends are coming over. Anybody appear? And she said, leave it with me. And I was doing a gig because I'm a performer. I was over in sort of the other side of England. And I came off stage and a text come through from Sharon going, I've got them VIP passes.
Huh?
And I think it was Valentine's night. I think it was like February the 14th when they were going. And I'll pick them up and I'll take them. And who was there but Ricky Skaggs? I mean, he was like, my mate just gave me the biggest bear hug because he's about the same size as me. And he was like, oh my God. And I said to him, go, because I've never been to Nashville. I keep saying, I've just celebrated my 60th birthday a few days ago. And that was part of my bucket list, was Nashville. So it'll have to be next year now. And it's all safe and well. But my friend said to me, I've got Ricky Skaggs. And I thought, wow, and it's just amazing. I mean, Ricky Skaggs as well, from a bluegrass point of view, you must have met him numerous times.
Yeah, we know Ricky pretty well.
Yeah. Have you done any music or thinking of doing any music with him? Or?
We have. He recorded on our Snapshot CD with us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
We've done several gigs, and stuff together.
Yeah. So I mean, again, he complements Vince Gill very well as Patty Loveless as well, and those sort of harmonies as well. But now let's finish off talking about Vince Gill, though. Let's put him to bed in a minute. I saw the photographs on Facebook by Brian. You know, Brian, obviously a manager, and I've talked to people on numerous times here, Brian Smith, and a big shout out to Brian for setting this up. I really appreciate it. And he put on this picture of being in Vince Gill's house, his recording studio, doing this album, and I wasn't jealous. Yeah, I was. How was that? How was that for you from day one, till it finished?
It was just a great experience. I remember getting the phone call from Vince the very first time we'd kind of asked him to be on our record, and we was going to Florida, I guess you could say. So, going down one part of the interstate towards Charleston, South Carolina, then you hit I-95 South to go to Florida. And if you miss that, you'll end up going to Charleston, which is about another 20 miles. And he called me while I was on 26. And before we cut off on the interstate, I totally missed the South, and I was heading into Charleston before I could even realize it,
Well, yeah, and you would.
We got off the phone. I was on such a kind of a high that he'd called me on my cell phone and talked to me that long, about, wow. And we was going to get to record. And then I kind of snapped out of it and woke up. It's like, hey, we're almost in Charleston. I missed the turn. But, Vince is great, man. Since then, that's been about maybe 4 or 5 years ago now. And we've got to, really look up to him and become pretty close friends. And he's had us over to the house several times since then. And he's just first class all the way. Yeah,
I've always said that he's one of them people I'd love to go for a beer with. He's got, when you listen to his interviews as well, he just seems a very passionate guy about music, but he also seems a caring guy as well, and seems real.
Yeah.
There's no, is that right?
No put on, it's, no fake, and it's just him all the way,
I've often thought, though, does he actually live in the Opry? Because, or if they've got somebody doesn't turn up, Vince, can you come down? Because he just seems to be there all the time, doesn't he? Just driving past, I'll do a gig. It just comes down.
He loves it, of course, all the time, and likes to be one of the folks there that helps keep it going, as one of the stars. And it's, he just had a birthday, so he's 64 now. So he's going to be there till the end of time. Yeah,
I hope so. A
lot of folks, just kind of play it once or twice a year, and especially a lot of the Opry stars. So he's one of the ones I believe that'll carry on, just like Porter and Bill Anderson and Jimmy that you talk about. That's there when they're not somewhere else. He'd like to be at the Opry.
Yeah, I think Bill's going to be coming on, Bill Anderson, in a few weeks or so. So I'll be looking forward to that. And it's that tradition as well, carrying that sort of tradition, because let's say the actual genre of country per se, whether it's bluegrass, Americana, or country, it's going in certain directions, to appeal to certain audiences, whether you're young or whatever. But like you said, yourselves as well, carrying that torch of traditional, good country music that will stand the test of time, it's amazing, really. And it's that standard that you've set from day one. I mean, I followed you as soon as I found out, obviously, with Brian and stuff like that. I thought, who's these? And I just love bluegrass so much, but we don't hear it a lot over here.
Mm-hmm.
The country stations that are in the UK, it's all about the chart. It's all about this. And I've been dying for ages to do a bluegrass session. I have played your music, right through since I've started the radio stations. And I've wanted to get you on, I know you've been really busy, and it's just been amazing to actually get you on, because like I said, I just love great vocals and great musicianship,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. And I thank you so much. We'll play a lot more of your music as well, but I mean, what's the future? Tell us about what's going to happen in the future.
Well, we've got a brand new album coming out later this summer. And it's like the single come off of that from Blue Baby. We've got a couple exciting tunes on there that we've been writing a lot during the pandemic. Yeah. One of them is actually about the Grand Ole Circle. And I think it'll be the next single. So we can't wait for you folks to hear that one.
Yeah, we've got some special guests on this next album as well. So
wow.
it'll be fun to see how people perceive it. So
yeah.
New music's always exciting.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. And again, it needs it. There's a lot of new music coming out. As I said, people with lockdown and whatever. I mean, here in the UK, the shops have just started to open this week after 4 months, and you can have a drink outside, you know, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow because my friends, I've not been able to see my friends for celebrate my birthday. We're all intense social distancing in a grass field, you know, we're just 6 feet apart, you know, having a drink. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. And I've even had my haircut today because the barbers have only just opened. I ended up looking like Billy Ray Cyrus in the 90s at one point, you know. But one question that I ask most of my audience, and it's about the monument, it's gone up my head again. What's it called? With all the 4 faces on it. It's
with the presidents.
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
I do it every week and it goes up my head. That's how, when you get 60, that's what happens. But Mount Rushmore, if you could replace those 4 heads with people that's influenced you all the way through your career, who would that be?
Oh, goodness. I would definitely have to say Dolly Parton and Emmylou Harris for me. And then you get to pick 2.
Well, Vince and Ricky, you know, would be a big influence for us. And, you know, it comes across with those people's influences.
Yeah.
You know, like Vince, who influenced him and who influenced Ricky. They influence us too, but we get to live that through them, you know.
It's kind of that torch, isn't it?
From over there, you know, they listen to the Monroe Brothers and the Everett Brothers and so on. And you hear that broke down so much, you know, in their singing, the music that they did, you know, in the 60s, but still that harmony structure that their style back, you know, from the late 30s and 40s singing. Yeah. It's a great thing to pass on down. And like she said, Emmylou Harris and Dolly, the music that they've done throughout the 70s and 80s and 90s, you know, we get to relive that today and do a new spin on that kind of thing, whether it be our kind of writing or our kind of arrangement, just because we heard it now.
But it's carrying that torch, isn't it, from the foundations laid by, you know, the past. And, you know, and without those, there would be none of this now, you know, and sure. You know, it's yourselves as well. When, you know, younger musicians aspire to yourselves and then take what you've brought and develop that, you know. I mean, here in the UK, I mean, there's a pub probably about 5 miles away from here. And for years now, I'm going back a long time, always had a bluegrass night on a Tuesdays. So great.
Nice.
You know, and it's just local musicians just coming in with the fiddles and the banjo and just jamming and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to tomorrow because I've not played a guitar. I've not picked my guitar up since November. I did my last gig in November and obviously we locked down and I just lost all heart with it. But then I was saying to the guys, I said, are you taking your guitars? I went, yes. I went, oh, I better practice. And all my fingers now have gone a little bit soft. You know, you used to have that ridge in your finger. Now it seems to be going. You know, I'll be like that on Sunday. But no, I love it. And I'll tell you one version. I mean, I love the Beatles, obviously coming from where I live. And I do a bluegrass version of I've Just Seen a Face by the Beatles. And I love that sort of vibe about it, you know, and people go, I love that. I've not heard that one before, you know, and I just love the beat to it, you know. But
yeah, that's a great tune. I've heard it done in bluegrass style several different ways.
Yeah, there was a band, is it called Grassmasters or something? They did do something like that, I think it's called. And that's, you know, there's no vocals, it's just playing, picking and things like that. But so that, I mean, what have you got planned for the rest of the day? Are you doing anything nice? What's the weather like over there?
It's beautiful today. We just finished up with a songwriting session here a little while ago. And then today we might go hit a few golf balls and pick out some more flowers and do a little yard work this evening. Ah,
lovely. It's golfing country over there, isn't it? Roundabout. Yeah. Do you play as well, Brooke? You play?
You can out drive me from the ladies.
Do you whoopies
You know it.
Man.
No,
I am athletic. I love sports. So yeah, I love to play, and we don't get competitive really. So it makes it relaxing and just a good time to be together and be outdoors.
Oh, that's brilliant. Which is your favorite? What sport then? What is it? Golf your favorite sport?
My favorite sport, probably at this age it is, just because it's not so hard on your body. But
Brooke was a great volleyball player through college, and she played basketball.
Yeah,
I loved volleyball, but beach volleyball. When every time I went on vacation, I used to just jump in and go, "Can I?" You know, I was a goalkeeper in soccer, as we would call it. And I used to love just jumping and, you know, but like now I've probably got, I'm just going to go for a swim now, you know. But are you American football fans?
We are, yeah.
Okay, who's your team?
We typically
we live pretty close to Charlotte for the Panthers, and we pull for the Titans a lot too there in Nashville. So.
Yeah. Well, I saw the Panthers last year. They came to the UK against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, okay.
And me and my future son-in-law, we went down. I'd never experienced an American football game before, but I always had my team's Washington. I can't say Redskins anymore, but Washington, because in the 80s when it first came over, sort of like the UK, my favorite football team, soccer team, is Liverpool. So they were red. So I went Redskins. I'll stick with them, and that's how I've been. But I always had a soft spot for Tampa. Yeah. And that was because when one of the first time I went over on vacation was 86. And we did the Orlando and then went on the Gulf, like Clearwater, you know, Treasure Island, that way on.
Yeah.
And some of the guys who we met were going to the Tampa game, but I couldn't afford to go. Oh. I thought, I can't really afford it. So I decided not to go. But ever since then, I've had a thing for Tampa Bay. And I was so made up this year when they won. But yeah, I've got a scarf with Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay.
Very nice. Wow.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you've got a busy schedule. I really appreciate it. And we'll be flying the flag of your career here, like we always do. And like I say, any new music, just fire it over and we will play it here for you gladly.
Thank you so much. Yes. And we get to hope to come over there maybe next year and perform live for the folks.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you in. And Brian knows I've got connections over here as well. So we would love to make that happen. And it's been an absolute pleasure.
It has for us too. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah,
All the very best. Stay safe and stay well.
Bye-bye.